They say vanity is harmless, just pride in how we look. But vanity, when it grows like a disease, can rot the soul, and sometimes it can kill. This is the story of a woman who lived for her beauty and lost everything to a mirror that showed more than just her reflection. She was beautiful, admired by thousands on social media. Every photograph she posted was carefully staged, every smile rehearsed, every angle perfected. Each comment of praise was a drug she couldn't live without. But behind the filters, behind the flawless images, her obsession was consuming her. She wasn't living. She was performing, always chasing a version of herself that didn't exist. At night, she scrolled endlessly, comparing herself to others, envying women with more followers, with smoother skin, with younger faces. She feared time, feared age, feared becoming ordinary. She told herself it was just ambition, but deep down she knew it was something darker, a hunger that could never be satisfied. One late evening, while driving home and checking her phone at the same time, it happened. A sudden violent bang shook her car, a flat tire. She cursed, pulling into the nearest gas station, her hands trembling with frustration. And then she saw it. Across the road, behind a crooked sign and dusty windows, stood an antique shop. The kind of place most people ignore. Too strange, too forgotten. But for her, it pulled like a magnet. It was as if it had been waiting. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of old wood. Dim lamps flickered, casting long shadows over shelves stacked with unsettling objects. Porcelain dolls with cracked faces, clocks stuck forever at midnight, jewelry that seemed to whisper when the air moved. She wandered slowly, her eyes darting nervously from one relic to another, and then she saw the mirror. It towered over her, framed in heavy gold, decorated with sculpted faces frozen in silent screams. It radiated something ancient, something dangerous. She stepped closer, unable to resist. She asked the shopkeeper for the price. The old man's eyes widened, and in a low, trembling voice he whispered, "It's not for sale. That mirror doesn't show who you are. It shows who you want to be." Her heart pounded. She turned back to the glass. In it, her reflection was breathtaking. Flawless skin, perfect features, beauty that eclipsed even her most carefully edited photos. She couldn't look away. It was her, but it was also more than her. It was the dream she always chased. The shopkeeper turned to answer the phone. In that instant, her desire swallowed her reason. She didn't think, she didn't hesitate. She dragged the mirror, awkward and heavy, forcing it into her car. She had stolen her perfection. At home, she hung it in her bedroom. From the first night, she was consumed. She sat before it for hours, mesmerized. Her reflection was everything she had dreamed of. A version of herself that didn't age, didn't weaken, didn't fail. But reality was cruel. Days passed, she forgot to eat. Her body weakened, her cheeks hollowed, her eyes sank into shadow. Friends called, worried, but she ignored them. She no longer needed them. The mirror was all that mattered. Neighbors later recalled how she vanished from her routine. No more morning runs, no laughter at night, just shadows flickering behind her curtains and sometimes the faint glow of her phone, untouched for hours. Her beauty in the real world was fading, but in the mirror she was radiant. More than radiant, she was divine. Her once glowing skin was gray and tight over her bones. Her hair had lost its shine, strands falling out in clumps on her pillow. Her nails were cracked, her lips pale and broken. The smell of her room was heavy, stale perfume mixed with sweat and decay. And yet she smiled whenever she faced the mirror, because inside that golden frame she wasn't dying. She was blossoming. The reflection looked healthier every day, more beautiful, more divine. It was as if the mirror was drinking her life away, one breath at a time, but returning it as a cruel illusion. She began whispering to the glass as if it were alive. "Don't leave me. You're the only one who understands me." At night, neighbors swore they heard murmurs, a woman talking, laughing, and sometimes crying. But she was alone, or at least she thought she was. One night, as the rain tapped against her window, something changed. She was staring into the mirror when her reflection blinked. Half a second too late. Her smile lingered after hers had faded. Her heart skipped. She leaned closer. And that's when she saw it. Not her reflection, not exactly. Behind her image, inside the mirror's world, something darker moved. A shadow, tall, thin, with arms far too long, its fingers stretching like knives. Its grin was wider than human, splitting its face unnaturally. For a moment she froze, convinced it was just her imagination. But then the shadow waved. From that night it returned. Always behind her, always closer. Each day her body weakened further while the thing inside the mirror grew stronger, clearer, more eager. On the final night, she collapsed to the floor. Too weak to stand, she crawled, dragging herself to the mirror like a dying pilgrim at the feet of a cruel god. Her reflection stared down at her, smiling with lips of perfect crimson. But her real lips were cracked, bleeding. Her body trembled, her voice reduced to whispers. "Please, don't leave me." The shadow stepped forward, slowly. Its claws pressed against the glass, then slipped through as if the mirror were liquid. She tried to scream, but only a rasp escaped. It grabbed her wrists, cold as ice, and pulled. Her nails scratched the floor, leaving trails of blood. Her eyes widened in terror, but the reflection in the mirror still smiled, calm, serene, perfect. With one final tug, the mirror swallowed her whole. Inside, the world was wrong. The house was there, but twisted like a funhouse reflection. The walls bent inward, the air smelled of rot, and in the corners, dark figures whispered. They circled her, laughing, their voices overlapping. Vain, foolish, ours. From that day, she was gone. To her friends, she had simply vanished. They broke into her apartment a week later, desperate to find her. The bed was neatly made. Her phone still buzzed with endless notifications, likes, and messages from people who would never see her again. Her car sat parked outside. Everything in place except her, but the mirror remained. And if you were to stand in front of it now, you might see her. Behind the glass, a flawless woman pressed her hands against the surface, her eyes wide with terror, begging to be freed. Around her, the shadows laugh and leer, their claws scraping the inside of the frame. And if you stare too long, if you let vanity guide your heart, you might notice your own reflection begin to change. Your flaws will vanish, your face will glow, your beauty will be beyond human. But behind you, something else will be smiling. Remember this, the mirror never lies. It only shows what you want most. And when it does, it takes something in return. They say vanity can't kill, but stand in front of that gold mirror and you will learn it can.
Dare to enter again? Subscribe if you're not afraid of what comes next.